Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins at a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future homebuyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of homeownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923, AnyMac Home Mortgage, an equal housing lender, American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC, DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage, Lo-Fi Direct, Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent, License Lender, Broker Number, ML 338923, Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License Number, MC 338923, Rhode Island License Lender, License Number 2011280L. Call for additional details.
Throwing jabs, always full send. Here we go again. Jared, Joe, and Jay's Clover Crest, top three corner man, punching in with a puncher's chance. We find a way to win. The main event, locked it in every Saturday at 10. The overhand is out of hand when it comes to fisticuffs. Slide a hand on the undercard, you'll never see the punch. Uppercut got you missing weight, feet are stepping late. Keep your guard up, feeling faint from a feint. Take a stand and eight, then retaliate. Put up your duke, stick and move, bob and weave. Don't lose hope against the ropes, there's always an escape. Never stay down. One more round, bells ringing, counter punch with your chin tucked and go down swinging. We bringing crosses with no worship, hooks with no verses, combinations with no locks. When you feel the flurry of curtains, from scrub scraps to fight stats, relax if you want the facts, cause the best combat podcast is Throwing Jabs.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Throwing Jabs, Combat Sports Podcast. I'm Big Jace, joined by Jared Jones and Joe Aguirre. We got a lot to talk about. A big heavyweight UFC fight night tonight. And we got the battle for the undisputed, boxing's undisputed lightweight champion. But first, speaking of boxing's lightweight division, Gervonta Tank Davis KOs Rolando Romero in the 6th round to retain his regular WBA lightweight championship. Jared, you texted it to the group, right? I think you texted it to us. Never seen someone knock someone out, or did I see it on Facebook? I don't remember. Never seen someone knock someone out and win a fight without winning a round. So I know you've been very crucial of Tank Davis. Is he ready for the winner of tonight's fight?
No. And do you think I mean anybody who watched this fight and doesn't think I'm right, or the Chavez fight and doesn't think I'm right, or any of his last 4 or 5 fights, and doesn't think I'm right to be overly critical of the guy is not paying attention. He's losing rounds. He's regularly getting punched by guys that aren't the upper echelon. Give me the top 2-3 other guys at that spot. Do you know what Errol Spence would do to this guy? Loma? People are talking about Loma will do whatever he wants in there. It'll look like he's writing a song. Like literally orchestrating a symphony if he gets in there and fights Tank Davis. This guy's a good, strong puncher and a solid fighter, but he can't box very well.
Yeah, my brother just commented he got knocked out due to his own lack of skill. He threw the same punch and got caught with just like Santa Cruz did in their fight. And you're exactly right, Jared. If he's fighting Lomachenko or any of the top guys, he's not getting away with that.
The lack of head movement, again, taking all those punches. Yeah, you can handle Rolando Romero and you can take his punches, but what happens if we're talking about a Spence, a Crawford, a Lomachenko? Any of these guys are going to pick him apart. I would even say at this point, I think Teofimo Lopez is a better fighter than Tank Davis is.
I agree.
The better boxer. He's a better boxer.
Yeah, I'm with that too.
Hold on, real quick. That said, Jace, I'll say this. Look, Tank's a strong guy.
Yeah.
To be getting beat up and to drop somebody in the sixth, you have to tip your cap to the kid. He's got talent, but he's a mess. He really needs. They need to tighten this guy way up.
Yeah, the only person, while you're rattling off those names, the only person I see like comparable to him is Ryan Garcia, and that's just because they're both young and we don't know how good they actually are. Tank Davis, to me,
I don't want to see that fight. That's one of the last fights I want to see because we learn nothing. We learn nothing. Garcia knocks out Tank. Well, he's better than we thought we were, but I don't see what can happen in that fight where you really figure out how good the guy is. We don't know how good either one is, so to have them fight each other, you still learn next to nothing.
Yeah, but with Tank, I think Tank is a heavyweight fighter fighting at lightweight. He's like Deontay Wilder. He's got that power. But, I mean, there's a reason why all these small guys are at the top of the pound-for-pound list. When you get lighter to the lighter weights, the skill gap there's just a lot more skill, a lot more mobility. You can't go like that at this lightweight. So that's why it's not going to work. Maybe if he packs on a couple pounds and goes to heavyweight, that's not going to happen because it loses power. But I mean, it's ridiculous.
Everybody in the top 20 at lightweight.
Yeah,
everybody in the top 20 at lightweight outboxes this guy. Just about everybody. I like Jermaine Ortiz is 14 right now. I think he outboxes Tank Davis. Javier Fortuna, Maxie Hughes, Burchalt, guys all the way down there. Romero at 21 just did. Willie Zepeda. He might stop Tank Davis because you're taking too many punches, and that's all the way down. But these other top four, Teofimo Lopez, Kambosos, Devin Haney, and Loma, Tank's ranked above all four, and all four of those guys will smoke Tank. He gets hit too much. You will have to – maybe he could knock out Haney. I don't see any of those other things happening. You know, Isaac Cruz
I don't like Haney
round.
either. I don't think so.
No. I mean, he does have a chance with that power against anyone, but I mean, you got to land something. These guys.
Look what happened to Deontay Wilder. That worked out great. Throwing that big overhand right from across the ring. That worked great on guys who also just stood there and threw with him. And what happened when he got into a fight with a guy who knows how to box? He got murdered. He got absolutely murdered. So, I mean, having a big, powerful right, being Francis Ngannou, like I knock anybody out in the world, that's great. But what happens when you're fighting an elite level boxer who's got the same power you do? Who's going to expose every flaw that you have? Yeah, there you go.
All the way up through the ranks, Justin Gaethje was able to do that. Yep, he was able to do that. Land the punch, and he finally started getting in the cage with guys he couldn't land that punch with. And now you've seen Justin Gaethje at the top of the line. And I think that's what we're going to get from Tank Davis. Adrian Broner, much as I hate to mention that guy's name, that's what we're going to get. You're going to look great until you hit that upper echelon. And honestly, Tank has done better with these guys than I thought he would. I thought he'd have a loss by now, but you can't always land that punch. It took you 6 rounds to get there, and you were losing that fight. You won the hell out of the 6th round, but you were losing that fight, Tank, and you're going to have to learn how to box if you want to fight with any of the other guys on that pound-for-pound list.
I think it's
or even in your own division. There's 4 guys in your own division you can't handle boxing like that.
I think too. I bet you he probably is a better boxer than what we see in the ring. I think he just still thinks he can get away with that. And it's been working. And so, again, I thought maybe this would be the wake-up call. Maybe it'll be in the next fight. He's gonna get exposed to somebody at or above his level.
What's happening? Yeah, and he's getting conditioned to believe this can happen. I've always talked about the largest one of those for me was Ronda Rousey. She's a tactician. She's better than everybody else at this one thing. And then, hey, I can just knock people out. And she starts getting attached to that. And then she tries to outbox Holly Holm. Stupid. 26-time world champion. That was dumb. And now Tank's in the same position. He's getting conditioned to believe he can land that one punch. And he's looking for it instead of winning rounds, which doesn't work. Ask Mike Tyson what happens when you get to the top of the game and you're conditioned to knock people out in the first few rounds. You get smoked. Somebody with a good jab smokes you again and again and again. It's a Holyfield. It's a Lewis. It's a who were they at the end? I mean, there was some guy, but they had a good jab. They could box, had a decent jab. Tony could tell you all three of those guys, I bet. Oh, shit. Yeah, but that's what it's going to take. Somebody with a good, strong jab is gonna walk circles around Tank Davis. A la Shakur Stevenson, also overrated, doesn't know what to do with a straight right hand. These guys are going to lose.
These guys, I'm with you. They need to lose. But I think they have the skills. I mean, Gervonta Davis, he has that athletic ability. He can come back from a loss. That's the big problem with boxing. Everyone's chasing that. Look at the UFC. And no one's undefeated. Look at Charles Oliveira. After that loss, Gervonta Davis is either going to turn into a Charles Oliveira and get back and try and attempt to get back at the top of the lightweight division, or he's going to turn into a Deontay Wilder. But we need to see what he looks like in that face of in staring into the eyes of adversity first.
Do you remember Rocky 3?
Yes.
He dispatches Apollo Creed, right? And 2, he's the champion of the world. Life is good, and he's beating up Thunderlips and every other bum Mickey could find. Okay? And then Clubber Lang showed up. And Rocky didn't know he was fighting the Bum of the Month Club. He didn't know that.
He
went in. He went in there. I'll show Mickey what's up. And that didn't work out so good. So, I mean, listen.
He was trying to protect you, Rock.
Yeah. You don't necessarily need a loss, Jace, but you need either for your corner to be honest with you, with your manager to tell you, dude, like, listen, that same thing with Deontay Wilder. Same exact conversation could be had as far as Tyson Fury concerned. You can't just land that right. You're going to have to get in there and box. You're going to have to not get hit as much. Well, so I think these guys know what they got to do. I think Davis is probably more capable than we've seen him, but he's still trying to be Rocky 3 here. And I'm telling you, when he gets in the ring with Clubber Lang, he's going to be in big trouble, and it's going to be ugly.
You watch Arthur Abraham versus Edison Miranda. They fought twice. Watch those fights, these guys, and then look up their stories. My God, it's easy to see why these guys stayed hungry. You know, one of them had a system for figuring out if roadkill had been there too long to eat. He was homeless since he was 5 or 6 years old, just looking for his mom, walking across countries 1,400 miles on foot when he was 6 or some shit like that. Easy to understand why a guy like that could stay hungry. I think the problem with Tank, when you say he knows what he has to do, is how at this level, with what he's got, with, gold-plated toilet paper, how does this guy stay hungry? I don't see it. I think he goes in there to put on a show and thinks he can do it and is going to land that punch. And if he loses 116, 112 to Romero, he goes, no, I didn't. Teofimo Lopez, Deontay Wilder, he's the greatest thing that ever happened and can't be beat. So he's starting to believe this BS and conditioning to himself to think this is how life is. And he's not going to stay hungry. And some hungry guy with losses, some Loma, some Charles Oliveira type is going to smash him and strip all those belts. And I can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, the biggest thing, I think, to just sum up all what we're saying, the biggest thing with Gervonta Davis is there's no evolution. There's no growth. Same stuff. Same just looking for that uppercut. And that's really all we want to see, even if it isn't a loss, even if it is getting bested by someone like Loma. If he can hang in there, not have to rely on landing that one thing, able to work something, that'd be great. And he has a bright future. But we just need to see some sort of evolution, some sort of growth.
You know what I would have liked to have seen, Jace, is Davis box the crap out of Romero for the first 5 and then start swinging for the fences and knock him out in 6. That would have felt good. You're like, oh, this guy looks like he's on the up and up.
For one round. If I had
one would have been good. One.
And I'm not saying he lost every round. I don't even want to have that debate. But what I'm saying is he didn't dominate a round.
Right.
Come out, outbox the guy, show that you can do that, and then go lay him on the ground. You didn't show me that you can outbox any of these guys that you fought in your last few fights. I have not seen you outboxing these guys. Did you outbox Isaac Cruz, Barrios, Santa Cruz? No, I didn't see it. Gamboa was the last guy you beat up. He was 58. Come on, man.
Yeah, but it looks like with what's going on tonight, Davis might get thrusted into some tough competition, and let's see if he will rise to the occasion. But I think we talked enough about Gervonta Davis for right now.
One more. 47-31-1. Jermaine Mraz, 47-31-1 is his record, 47-31. On 10-8-2014. He was knocked down in the 3rd round and the 5th round by Tank Davis, who won 60-52 on all 3 scorecards. That's the last time he didn't lose a round on every judge's scorecards and went more than 3 rounds. So you've got another 7, 8, 9 fights here where every single fight he's losing at least a round on every single scorecard. And some of these guys can't fight. Some of these guys just aren't very good. If you don't knock them out, you lose these fights. You're 22-5 if you don't knock guys out.
Santa Cruz is still the biggest name on his resume.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's not a great name.
Not at all.
And you were losing. It was 3 rounds apiece. When he got knocked out, I had it 3 rounds apiece. And every judge had it 3 rounds apiece when he got knocked out. 48-47, and I think Santa Cruz will give him the benefit on the 6th before he went to sleep.
Yeah. But it's interesting. We need to see like an Ngannou type performance for Gervonta Davis. Expand the evolution.
Yes.
The evolution where he's going to turn into Deontay Wilder. But all right, let's take a break. We got something fun with the NBA Finals starting. We're gonna mesh the world of combat sports and basketball. But first, let's hear a word from one of our sponsors.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEX Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEX Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut.
All right, so the NBA Finals have started. Celtics took Game 1. Game 2's tonight. But now let's mix the world of combat sports and NBA, giving our starting five using combat sports athletes. So rather than do it like we normally do and we all rattle off our teams, let's go position by position here. Starting off with point guard. Joe, who you starting?
My point guard, with the first pick of the draft, I select Vasily Lomachenko. Smart guy. I can see him handling the rock. Could probably do it with both hands. A field general. That's what I needed in my point guard. Tough as nails, too. Reminds me of Sherman Douglas.
All right. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Well, for the record, this isn't a draft because I have Loma as well. But Jared,
it feels like one, though.
Really? Wow, I can beat that twice. My backup point guard's better than that. Manny Pacquiao. He'd probably play semi-pro if he wasn't a boxer. And he's not my starting point guard. Haha, little honorable mention there. Deron Williams. Yeah, sure. Okay. Deron Williams versus Loma on a basketball court. Good luck, guys. Next. Who's the shooting guard?
Okay. Yeah, I knew Jared would be. I knew Jared was gonna come with that. All right. Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with that all-star. You know. But all right. Yeah. I mean, I got Loma too. I think he'd be like a Chris Paul. You know. I think the way he sets up his punches in the ring, just setting up guys to get open shots.
Good hands.
Defensively.
Stockton.
Footwork. Yeah, John Stockton, Chris Paul, I think just that floor general, running the whole offense, getting other guys involved, and defensively just being that quick with his hands and his footwork. I think he'll be able to get some steals, start some fast breaks. But, all right, now shooting guard, Joe, who you got?
I've seen my shooting guard nail baskets on Instagram. He's quite the baller. He is only 5'8", which isn't particularly large for a shooting guard. But I select Omaha, Nebraska lefty Terrence Bud Crawford as my shooting guard.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Got the Manu Ginobili, James Harden, like lefty shooting guard. I think that'd be, I like that. Interesting. But who you got there, Jared, at your shooting guard?
Man, your Bud Crawford's getting schooled at shooting guard too, and I've seen some videos of this guy playing ball back in his day, in his prime. We're going to take Roy Jones Jr. as shooting guard.
Oh, yes.
You're welcome.
Wait, hold on. I guess my question is this the guys in their prime or if they were playing right now?
No, that's something we should have established.
See, there's never parameters here.
One of mine's dead, so.
I
did
take my liberties at center. All right. I mean, whatever you make of it. For me, shooting guard, I got a volume shooter, a guy who it doesn't matter if he's going to miss. He's just going to keep taking shots. Shooter's going to shoot like he does in the octagon, just a volume guy, keep coming forward, throwing those punches. I got Max Holloway at my shooting guard. Doesn't worry if he misses a punch, doesn't worry if he misses a shot. He's still going to keep taking them, and that's what I want. So I got Max Holloway at shooting guard. Joe, who you got at the small forward, the 3 spot?
I'm 2-0. You guys know that, right?
By the way, I think I've mentioned the name of everybody on my list in the first 17 minutes of the show.
Well done.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know why I did that. I noticed it after I did. But my small forward.
Oh, damn.
He's 6'7", coming out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Deontay Wilder.
I like that.
He's got the right frame to be a small forward in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And again, before he into boxing, he was a baller.
Oh yeah, he can ball.
Yeah, he can indeed. I might have him coming up here in a little bit too. So, but Jared, who you got at the small forward?
Deontay Wilder.
Yeah,
Can't go 3-0 with Wilder at small forward. So 2-0-1. Yeah, no, I like what that guy can ball too. You know, we have evidence that these guys can play. Then, you know,
yeah. I have Deontay Wilder, just not at my small forward.
You got him at the power?
Right? Yeah, he's a power guy.
I don't know. He's not a banger. He's kind of a pussy, to be honest. You know what I mean? I kind of want him out on the wing more than like banging down low. That's just me. Yeah.
Okay, but all right. For my small forward, I think when you're looking at the greats, small forwards in history, the guys like the LeBron James, Magic Johnsons, Scottie Pippins,
Oscar.
Julius Erving. These are guys that, while I mean they were small forward, that they could really go anywhere. Like I mean, when Magic Johnson won the championship his rookie year, in that game 7, they forced him to play center because Kareem was out. Like a guy that can go everywhere. LeBron James playing point to center. I mean, so with that being said, I know he's going to be a little small here, but I got Manny Pacquiao. Just being able to go everywhere, his versatility.
5'5", a small forward.
No, you're out of your mind.
He could play center.
Crazy.
It was
Why don't you put Wilder at the small forward and bring in your guy Greg Hardy to play the power? I mean, that
how
makes
is
a lot
that
of
my
sense.
guy? What?
You love Hardy. Always talking about him.
I've never what?
Why don't you put young Anthony Joshua at point guard and old Anthony Joshua at center, since we don't have parameters for the game? Okay.
I love it.
All right. Well, I mean, I mentioned it already. Power forward, one of the most powerful punchers in boxing history. Deontay Wilder, and also, I mean, he was going to go to Alabama to play basketball, but due to his family's financial circumstances, he needed to get money quick. So therefore, he chose the route of boxing. Didn't have the time to dabble in school at Alabama and get drafted. So, yeah. So I got Deontay Wilder at the power forward. Joe, who you got?
My power forward is 6'7". He weighs 253 pounds. He hails from the Soviet Union. Alexander Volkov.
Yeah.
I'd like that guy banging underneath. That just makes all the sense in the world.
You guys are getting your butts kicked here. I have to say, here's 3-0-1 out of 5. 1-0 boxer. You got from URI. 6'10".
Oh my God.
Anybody?
Lamar Odom.
Lamar Odom, that power forward.
Is this Lamar Odom on crack? Or is this Lamar Odom on the Kardashians? Because that
You know, when you said I've mentioned every name earlier in the show, I said, oh, damn. Just to get that one in. But, yeah, Lamar Odom, dude. NBA. He's in the NBA.
Wait, why didn't anybody take Nate Robinson as their point guard?
Well, Darren Williams is the answer to that question. But I guess Williams plays shooting guard. Yeah. And then Nate
we're
Robinson
putting together a pretty good basketball
team.
Is
a bad, Odom at forward, yeah. And hey, to be fair to us, Roy, Pac-Man, and Wilder all may have played pro basketball if boxing didn't exist. All 3 of those guys liked that game, played that game, and were good at that game. So we do have some fighters here. They're not just crossover NBA stars, but this is quite a hell of a basketball team.
Yeah. Well, I didn't put him on my list because I thought you'd mention him, but James Johnson as well, former Heat, former Raptors player. He has a professional MMA record. I think he's like 1-0. So But all right, rounding off at center, I got 6'9". I think on the basketball court, I mean, what he can do in the ring, I think on the basketball court, he'd be like a Nikolai Jokic, a guy that could just do it all. Big guy, your jaw just drops at the things he can do. Tyson Fury. I have my center. Joe, who you got?
Well, just because I need to top you now, and because I didn't know we were playing by prison rules here on this one. My selection is 7 feet 2 inches, 225 pounds. He's a former #1 overall pick in the NBA. His name is Ferdinand Lewis Alcindor Jr. You know him best as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah, you know what? He was in that movie with Bruce Lee. So I'll take him. Yeah. Oh, we're playing like that, aren't we? Combat sports guy, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the win.
I don't see his fights though.
Fair enough. So here's what I'm really gonna do. Here's my actual written down selection.
I didn't realize it was prison rules. Will Chamberlain.
Here's my new selection. He is 7 foot tall. He is 265 pounds. He hails from the Netherlands. Stephen Struve. That's my center. Because I can't have Kareem, I guess.
And mine is he went 1-0 against Sammy Davis Jr. Look it up, Wilt Chamberlain versus Sammy Davis Jr. Do you remember the video?
Oh my God, hilarious!
A skit with so not Wilt Chamberlain because he doesn't box, but Gogia Mitu. In 1935, he had 2 professional fights, and he's 7'4". I'll take my chances.
Not bad.
Yeah. I had a different center in mind. I know I couldn't figure out her name. I know that you know, Jared. She's like a 6'9" Muay Thai fighter. I think she fought like Cyborg. I was gonna say that since we're all from Connecticut, got to show some women's basketball some love. I was gonna pick her, but I couldn't find her name. It was like something Barr, right? I want to say Roseanne Barr, but that's not.
Yeah, let's call her Roseanne Barr because that's definitely wrong, but hilarious and memorable.
Yeah, but I couldn't find her name.
Wait, so your center's what? Like a 6 foot tall woman?
No, she's like 6'9".
Oh, Gabby Garcia?
No, not Gabby Garcia. Damn. I don't remember. I gotta
Are
find
you
that out.
sure you didn't make this woman up in your head?
No. I remember talking. I'm pretty sure we talked about her on the show. I don't remember. I will find that out. But
a 6'9" woman that wrestles.
Something
That sounds like the woman of your dreams.
she was a Muay Thai fighter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But,
The woman of your dreams or the woman you're talking about? Or both?
Listen. Maybe. I don't know. But all right. Let's take a break. That was fun. Who you got? I think we all have good ones. I mean, I guess we'll give you if he's got a black belt, I think we give you
I'll take Kareem.
Kareem. Yeah, I was thinking about Megan Anderson, 6'2", but I mean, no, I need to figure. I'll figure out this woman's name because it's haunting me. It's been haunting me all morning. I've been trying to look it up. But all right, let's take a break, and then we got some big fights to talk about tonight. So stay tuned.
There's no bigger investment than home ownership. And to make sure the house is up to your standards, you need a professional to look it over. Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections is a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Brian was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs that I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment of your life, call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit shamrockhomeinspectionct.com. Live from the Apex in Las Vegas, it's UFC Fight Night. Volkov versus Rosenstruik, featuring a heavyweight bout between former Bellator heavyweight world champion Alexander Volkov and Jairzinho Rosenstruik. Let's break it down. Jairzinho Rosenstruik is 34 years old. He's 6'2" with a 78-inch reach and a record of 12-3 with 11 knockouts. Born in Paramaribo, Suriname, he began training in martial arts at the age of 17 before moving to the Netherlands and beginning a successful career in kickboxing that saw him compile a record of 76-8 with 64 knockouts. He made a brief foray into professional MMA in 2012, but didn't return to the sport until 2017 when he scored a one-round blowout of Marvin Aboli. He made his UFC debut in 2019, defeating Junior Albini by second-round knockout, and followed that up with fast knockouts of Alan Crowder and Andrei Arlovsky, both of which occurred within seconds of the fight starting. In his next fight, he took on Alistair Overeem as a last-minute replacement and was dominated from the start, throwing only 2 to 3 punches per round until he was able to catch Overeem with a left hook and a right cross combination with just 4 seconds left in the fight. On May 9th, 2020, he suffered his first loss when he faced Francis Ngannou, getting knocked out 20 seconds into the fight after getting caught by a wild flurry of punches from the future heavyweight champion. He bounced back in August, knocking out Junior Dos Santos in the second round, and on February 27th, 2021, he took on fellow top contender Cyril Gane, but was dominated from the start, getting picked apart at distance with jabs and leg kicks, while also getting completely controlled by Gane's superior wrestling skills. He returned to the cage 4 months later with a complete blowout of Brazil's Augusto Sakai, coming out aggressively and stopping him with a powerful series of punches with just 1 second remaining in the first round. However, just 3 months later, he dropped a unanimous decision to Curtis Blades, getting taken down multiple times despite closing Blades' right eye in an otherwise boring and lackluster affair. A well-polished counter-striker with world-class kickboxing skills, Rosenstruik tends to be rather tentative and measured in his fights, but possesses devastating one-punch knockout power in both hands. Alexander Volkov is 33 years old. He's 6'7", with an 80-inch reach and a record of 34-10, with 22 knockouts and 3 submissions. From Moscow, Russia, he made his professional debut in 2009 with an 80-second knockout of Nikolai Pleshakov. After going 14-3 with 13 stoppages, he had his first major test, beating former UFC champion Rico Rodriguez by unanimous decision. In 2012, he won the Bellator Heavyweight Championship with a decision over Richard Hale, but in his next fight, lost the belt via first-round knockout to Vitaly Minakov. He bounced back with a 5-fight winning streak, including knockouts of Mark Holada and Mighty Mo, but then dropped 2 straight decisions to Tony Johnson and Czech Congo. He made his UFC debut in 2011, defeating Tim Johnson by decision, and over the next year followed it up with a decision over Roy Nelson and brutal knockouts over contenders Steven Struve and former champion Fabricio Verdum. On October 6, 2018, he took on powerhouse Derek Lewis, putting on a masterclass and hurting Lewis multiple times while leading on all 3 scorecards. He was knocked out with a thunderous right cross with only 11 seconds remaining. After defeating Greg Hardy, Volkov dropped a lopsided decision to Curtis Blades, getting out wrestled, taking down a record 14 times. He came back just 4 months later, knocking out Walt Harris with a vicious kick to the midsection, followed by a barrage of punches. Next, he took on UFC veteran Alistair Overeem, dominating the fight with his technical striking and then blasting him out with a devastating left hook in the second round. After a hard-fought decision loss to Cyril Gane that June, he returned 3 months later, putting on a dominant performance against Poland's Marcin Tybura. However, on March 19, 2022, he was quickly overwhelmed by rising British prospect Tom Aspinall, getting taken down twice in the first round and submitted via armbar. Perhaps the most polished technical striker in the division, Volkov is patient in his approach, controlling the distance and rarely loading up on shots, preferring to overwhelm his opponents with volume, throwing at a rate of nearly 5 strikes per minute. Will the volume and technical proficiency of Volkov be able to overwhelm Rosenstruik Or will Big Boy's devastating power be too much as both men seek to fight their way back into title contention? Tune in Saturday night to UFC Fight Night Volkov versus Rosenstruik, and let's find.
All right. Who will come out victorious in UFC Vegas 56, Joe?
Here's the thing. Listen, this is two really patient fighters. So the chances of this thing going out to 5 are good. And if it goes to 5, you got to figure Volkov wins the fight by decision. He doesn't have to worry about getting taken down. He doesn't have to worry about getting wrestled. He probably could take Rosenstruik down a little bit. So he'll be in position to win the fight. Now, Rosenstruik, 5 rounds. I don't know what that cardio is going to look like. But, again, this is a guy who, and it's happened to Volkov before, get his lights put out at any moment. Volkov's a volume guy. He does like to, he's not a big puncher, but he likes to get in there and work it. And that's where you get slipped and you can get knocked out. I'm going to say Rosenstruik wins this by TKO in the 3rd round against my better judgment because I really do think Volkov wins this by decision, but I don't know. I just feel like Rosenstruik's he's kind of due for one of them big knockouts that Jace loves.
Yeah, I do. I love knockouts.
We need one of those.
Yeah.
Like, you probably don't even see it coming. Volkov does like a clinch and he pops him, and all of a sudden Rosenstruik just loads up and bam-o! Lights out. He's down for like 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I mean, now that you bring it up, that's where I'm going with. I'm going with Rosenstruik. I think he's going to knock him out. But you're right. If it does go to decision, it's going to favor Volkov. Rosenstruik, he's going to have to knock him out. But, or either, 1 second left. But
I love that.
That is one of the craziest fights in history. But, Jared, how do you see this playing out?
So you tell me, harder puncher, better striker, more likely to land a good punch, more likely to land that knockout punch. Is it Czech Congo? Is it Roy Nelson? Is it Greg Hardy, Curtis Blades, Walt Harris, Overeem, Cyril Gahn? These are all decisions and knockout wins. The time Volkov got caught by Derek Lewis at the end of the 3rd round in their fight. A lot of more technically sound fighters have not been able to stop Volkov unless he's aged in a way that, he's kind of fallen off the other end. You got to take him here. He has many, many more ways to win. So I'm the outlier. I'm taking Volkov.
Volkov has not won a headliner fight in his last 3. Whenever he's the main event, he loses. And in 2018, when he beat Fabrizio Verdum, is the last time he had a fight night with his name as the main event card where he walked out of there victorious. I'd love to see it. I love Volkov, and I hate that people are so dismissive of this guy because he's really good. And if you look at the losses, there's nobody on his list that I think he needs to be embarrassed by. Maybe Pat Bennett, but this guy's a banger. He bangs with everybody. He's always in the fight. So I don't know. He's one of my favorites. And
unlike Rosenstruik's kickboxing career, he doesn't have anything to be embarrassed about by the names of the losses.
Oh,
yeah.
This is two pretty elite heavyweights. But I think a lot of people still I don't think Volkov is a gatekeeper yet. I still think
Great.
he's very active in this division, and I think he's a good win or two away from getting another shot at the title. He's got to beat Rosenstruik because he's definitely got to beat somebody else to get closer to the top here. But this guy's a really good fighter. And again, sort of in the mold of Tyson Fury, for that size, to have sort of the skill set he does kind of makes him very special. Being a Muay Thai guy at 6'7", I mean, good Lord, with the knees. I mean, his knees are at your chin, pretty much, just standing there.
Yeah. But regardless, this is going to be a great fight. In two heavyweights, no one's going to wrestle. No one's going to lean on each other. It's just going to be brawling and nice from a distance.
Yeah, Tony and I were talking about that the other day, right? Everybody remembers he got knocked out by Lewis, but they don't remember he was kicking Lewis's ass for 4.85 rounds that night.
More ways to win. It's what I'm saying. When these guys get in the cage together, Rosenstruik might land something. But how do you see him winning minute to minute if he doesn't? This is Tank Davis-ish. I expect him to lose rounds until he makes magic or goes away.
Yeah.
And under 4.5's plus money, Joe. So take a look at that.
Ooh, I like that.
Under 3.5, I think.
That said, too, Volkov's only been knocked out twice in his career, which obviously is spanned across the globe, including where Jace loves, Bellator. Guy's been everywhere. So to only get knocked out twice and all that time this guy's been going at it, I mean, that's 44 professional fights. It is going to be tough for Rosenstruik, but to me, I think Rosenstruik is quickly losing relevancy in this division because after he got knocked out by Francis Ngannou, I kind of thought he was a better Francis Ngannou until Ngannou knocked him out in 20 seconds, and then I was like, oh, he sucks.
Well, and all of those big banger Tank Davis types are. Let's be fair. Blades, Lewis, Rosenstruik. Who doesn't fit the mold? Cyril Gane because he's a tactician. And Ngannou because he's made some wholesale changes. He's made some huge adjustments to grow past Rosenstruik. And this is what Jace was saying earlier. If Tank Davis doesn't make those wholesale adjustments, Lewis, Blades, Rosenstruik, you're all three running out of time to be relevant if you don't learn how to fight past that punch. And this is man, Volkov could totally dominate this fight and wash this guy out. I'm not going to be shocked. Rosenstruik can't totally dominate this fight from pillar to post and win by decision 50-45. I don't think he can do that. I don't think that.
Oh, not at all. Dude, Rosenstruik's only chance is loading up a big right hand and catching Volkov maybe in the middle of a kick or something, kind of a la what Lewis did. Sort of catch him there with a big bang, and that's it, and he's done. He's not going to outfight anybody. That's certainly not what he does. He's only ever gone the distance once. That was against Cyril Gane, and it wasn't even close. He also lost his last fight out, lost the Blades. I mean, fortunately, that was they weren't the main event.
Fight that people are talking about. Tell me how Tank wins any other 30-second gap of that fight without landing that punch. He's losing every exchange.
Jared, I would say, I don't know if I've ever done this before. I think this is the first time I've ever picked a guy who I think is just going to slip him at some point in the fight. And it might be the only good moment of the night for Rosenstruik.
That's again, a good pick.
Yeah, I mean, right? I can just as easily see Volkov beating the daylights out of Rosenstruik and him not ever even landing or throwing anything significant in this fight. That could also happen. I don't know why, dude, and I hate to pick like this. I just have this weird nagging feeling that Rosenstruik is going to catch him and knock him out. And in my mind, I'm seeing the number 3, so that's why I said the third round. But that just might be Volkov seeing triple when he gets hit by it. I don't know. It's a vision I'm having. It's hard
Joe's
to read
got
these.
some bones he's throwing into.
Well, the thing with Rosenstrike is, obviously he's looking for that punch, but also, besides the Ngannou loss, the loss to Gane and Blades was due to wrestling. Gane had a whole round of control time and 2 takedowns on him. Blades, that's his game plan all the time, to take you down. If it's not going to happen, I think more of an opportunity for Rosenstrike to land something. So I like that. I'll go round 4. I like that round 3. But
not for nothing though. Listen, if you're gonna fight somebody and you know that they're gonna wrestle you, and the takedowns start a minute into the fight in the first round, and you lose by decision because you kept getting taken down, you're a jackass, and you deserve to lose. Right? Listen, credit to Francis Ngannou for the Stipe fight, right? And again, everybody going, no, he stuffed 1 takedown. Relax. But it was the only one he needed. It was the only one he needed, and then he landed all the damage, and then the fight was over a couple of minutes later. But you've got to be able to get in that situation where, dude, Volkov could go in there and take Rosenstrike to the ground and keep him pinned for 4.5 rounds.
This is a great comment, because if it hadn't happened, you wouldn't think it could happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Tony and I, we've watched that fight a couple of times together. And I always say, dude, again, these Russian guys, there was no reason for Volkov to be engaged with Derek Lewis at that moment in the fight. If he was an American fighter, he'd have been running around the ring with his arms up, avoiding contact for the last 20 seconds.
Chase him around, yep.
Right? the Korean Zombies lost to Rodriguez, to me, one of the best losses anyone's ever had in their life. He already went. The fight was over.
Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar goes on that list.
Hell yeah, he does. Yes, he does.
Greatest losses ever.
I don't know what Rosenstrike is going to do if Volkov just starts taking him down, because when that happens, Rosenstrike, like Derek Lewis sometimes, you're like, have you ever been in a gym and done your back before? Have you even done anything with, at all?
Dude, it's like Dada or Slice. It's just like, what?
Oh, God.
Where am I?
If Volkov sees he can't do, if he gets it down, he sees that Rosenstrike can't get up, that's going to be the whole fight. And Volkov will win it by decision. So Rosenstrike, if he can't stop any of that stuff, he's in big trouble here. Because like Jared said, he's got no other skill set.
And that's making you irrelevant. If Tank Davis was in the UFC, we wouldn't know who he is.
Also,
because he would have had to fight those guys, and just like Rosenstrike would get to that point where here you are now, and you're going to be irrelevant because you don't have the versatility to hang with guys like Alexander Volkov.
What made Rosenstrike a name in the first place? It was knockout, right? 1 round, knockout first round, knockout first round, knockout first round, a split decision. Knockout first round, knockout second round, knockout first round, knockout first round. Then he went 5 with Overeem and caught him at the end there. And it's been a really mixed bag for him since, and it's been all elite competition since then. What do you call a fight between 2 gatekeepers? Sander, I'm already insisting Volkov is not a gatekeeper, and Rosenstrike is quickly, he's heading that way.
No. This guy will not be a gatekeeper either. People out getting knocked out. That's not. You need a durable, versatile, durable guy to be a gatekeeper. Rosenstrike, and neither one of these guys, because Volkov will fade away as soon as he's not relevant, and Rosenstrike will fade away as soon as he doesn't catch Volkov. Neither one of these guys looks like a gatekeeper to me.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, too. Again, outside of the Overeem fight, and other than Andrei Arlovsky, Junior Dos Santos, who's like 1 million years old.
Versatile.
Yeah, he hasn't. Listen, this guy hasn't matched up well with the guys at the top.
No.
So
Well,
if he can't beat Volkov, I don't know that he even needs to be in the UFC anymore.
damn.
Because the much better version of him and the one that did evolve into a much better fighter is the champion of the world. So you don't need two of those guys.
You're right, but I don't see why he's gonna be in the UFC. Everyone loves a heavyweight who can put someone to sleep. It's just not.
He hasn't been putting guys to sleep lately, though.
Well, I fell asleep during his last two fights.
All right. We spent a lot of time talking about this, but let's get into the big fight tonight. Or is it even tonight? I know it's in Australia. It might be during the day. I don't know. But all right, let's get into it. Who will be undisputed, boxing's undisputed lightweight champion? Joe breaks it down for us.
Coming up Saturday Night Live from Melbourne, Australia, it's Undisputed, a lightweight unification match between WBA Super, IBF, WBO, and the ring lightweight champion George Kambosos Jr. and WBC lightweight champion Devin Haney. Let's break it down. Devin Haney's 23 years old. He's 5'8" with a 71-inch reach and a record of 27-0 with 15 knockouts. From Oakland, California, Haney started boxing at the age of 8 and by 17 had won 7 national titles and became the youngest boxer to win the Youth World Championships. He amassed an amateur record of 138-8, including 3 losses and 3 wins against Ryan Garcia before turning pro in 2015 with a first-round TKO. He quickly went 15-0 with 14 knockouts before picking up his first belt, the vacant IBF North American lightweight title, with a 10-round unanimous decision over Juan Carlos Burgos. The following year, he picked up the vacant WBC International belt with a decision over Zolasani Indugani and defended it once, knocking out Antonio Moran with a vicious overhand right. In his next fight, he took on Zaire Abdulev for the vacant WBC interim title, as the sanctioning body had recently promoted Vasily Lomachenko to franchise champion. After 4 rounds, Abdulev's corner stopped the fight to spare him further punishment. In November of 2019, he defended the belt with a unanimous decision over Alfredo Santiago, injuring his shoulder in the process, and didn't return to the ring for a year until taking on former 2-time world champion Yuriorkis Gamboa, winning by a lopsided unanimous decision after thoroughly outboxing him for the 12 rounds. On May 29, 2021, he took on former 3-time champion Jorge Linares, dominating most of the fight and surviving a vicious combination in the 10th to secure the unanimous decision in his toughest fight to date. And 7 months later, put on arguably his best performance, utilizing his slick footwork and stiff jab to dominate Jojo Diaz and route to a wide unanimous decision. A slick counterpuncher with good head movement and fast hands, he uses his snapping jabs to set up his combinations while avoiding staying in the pocket for too long. George Kambosos Jr. is 28 years old. He's 5'9" with a 68-inch reach and a record of 20-0 with 10 knockouts. From Sydney, Australia, Kambosos was first introduced to boxing at 11 years old as a way to lose weight after being bullied at school. He began fighting as an amateur, and after compiling a record of 85-25, he turned pro in May of 2013 with the second-round knockout of Jason Makura. In his 6th pro fight, he won the Australian lightweight title with a 10-round decision over Robert Toomey. After winning his next 6, he won the IBF Pan-Pacific title with a dominant performance over Thailand's Kray Sethapathan, dropping him multiple times and stopping him in the 9th round. That same year, he was picked to be a sparring partner for Manny Pacquiao in his preparation for the Jeff Horn fight and remained his sparring partner until Pac-Man's retirement in 2021. The following year, he defended his belt twice, knocking out Jose Ferrero in 1 minute and 48 seconds, and then stopping J.R. Magbu in the 2nd round. In 2019, he took on former IBF lightweight champion Mickey Bay, dropping him in the 10th to win by split decision, and the following year won another close split decision over former champion Lee Shelby. On June 5th, 2022, he shook up the boxing world when, despite coming in as a 13-1 underdog, he dropped unified world champion Teofimo Lopez in the 1st round, then proceeded to rough him up and batter him en route to a split decision victory in one of the biggest upsets in recent memory. A relentless pressure fighter, Ferocious has solid footwork and is excellent at cutting off the ring. He also possesses a powerful left hook and a devastating right cross. Will the fast hands and slick counter punching of Haney bring a victory? Or will the unrelenting pressure and powerful combination of Kambosos be enough to overwhelm the dream as both men seek to establish themselves as the very best in the lightweight division? Tune in Saturday night to Undisputed, Kambosos versus Haney, and let's find out.
All right, Joe, who will leave Australia? The Undisputed.
Here's what I'm going to tell you right now. This fight is going the distance. Both of these guys have only knocked out about half of their opponents. Each of their last 4 fights have gone the distance, and it's been against the upper echelon of fighters, okay? I think that this is going to be a really well-fought fight. I think it's going to be 2 good boxers going at it. I mean, Haney just loves to jab to death. I think this one's going to be super close, a 115-113, and they're going to give it to Haney because boxing is corrupt.
Damn. All right. But I mean, because boxing, so with that being said, I'm assuming that you think Kambosos is going to win.
I think Kambosos will have in my mind won 7 of the rounds at least, and somehow Haney will get the win.
Damn. All right. Jared, how do you see it playing out?
And they'll say something like, well, he hit him harder with a right at some point, and that was the difference, or some nonsense.
I just sent you guys a clip because I see somebody getting knocked out here. I get it. They've only knocked about half their guys out. Good opposition, but a not very, very hard puncher got Devin Haney in a position where if there were 30 seconds left in the round, Devin Haney has a loss on his record. Jorge Linares clipped this guy. Do you guys remember that?
That was the knee buckle?
Yes, sir.
And then I think he pointed to the corner. Am I right? Yeah, I'll
right
never forget
way,
that.
my friend.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite moments of the year. 100%. Yeah.
He was like, whoa, he did chicken legs, got your corners that away.
It just seems to me that Haney can take a licking and keep on ticking. I'm not a big Haney fan, but I have to admit that guy can definitely take punches. Because I thought Linares was going to put him out. I wanted Linares to put him out so bad. And then how'd that fight end?
Well, Linares isn't the fighter that Kambosos is.
True that.
I don't think. And they're both bigger. Like Lopez, Kambosos, they cut. They cut. Not that Haney doesn't. But this is, I don't know. This is a little bit bigger guy, a little bit better puncher.
Yeah, we didn't even mention Kambosos did miss weight. Was able to rectify it, and the fight's still on, and Haney does not have his dad in his corner. Should be interesting.
Oof.
But
yeah, I can see somebody getting stopped here, but I don't think it's Kambosos. I think he's got the grit and durability here, and that's what it's going to come down to is durability. And Kambosos, he came up with it, and Haney, it's who's the hungrier guy here?
1,000,000%. Listen, Kambosos, again at one point was Manny Pacquiao's punching bag. Like did that for a job and enjoyed the hell out of it. And I don't think
straight up too. How old was Linares?
If that was Linares, yeah, dude.
Plus, that was also like a 3-year layoff for Linares as well.
You did all hear me say I'm picking Kambosos, right? Did I say
that?
No. No. Let me explain myself one more time. Kambosos is going to win the fight. I just don't know that they're going to officially say he won the fight. Is my point.
Yeah, that was like me with the Usyk and Joshua.
Your prediction is a judge robbery. Just so we're clear.
Yes.
Split
A
decision, Judge Robbery.
controversial split decision, and everybody's like, what were you watching? Yeah, it's going to be one of those.
9-3, 8-4, 9-3, Kambosos.
I think boxing's got a lot invested in these young guys, the Haneys, Davis, Lopez. Like, that's the next generation of boxers. I don't know that they consider Kambosos in that group. He put himself in that group, but he's like that, he's like Stipe. Like, we don't want Stipe to be the champ. Oh, crying out loud.
When
I think Kambosos kind of crashed the party. I don't think boxing loves it. And if he doesn't knock out Haney, Haney leaves with all the belts.
one of the best one of those in the history of combat sports is when I first started dating my now wife. And his name was Chris Weidman. And she didn't like all the antics of whoever this Silva guy was. And hadn't watched him for 2 decades like her future husband had. And there was a little back and forth. And then there was even a yes! One of those where she got a little too excited when her guy won. But I had to explain to her this was the guy that beat the guy that beat the guy and not the next guy. He's not going to win 10 fights. Absolutely. So this, like Loma, everybody's high on Loma. Lopez beats Loma. Oh my God, Kambosos beats Lopez. Here we are. How good are those other 2 guys? I could tell you Loma's one of the best on the planet. And that Lopez is bigger than Loma and probably won that fight.
I like this comment too, and I got to tell you, the part I'm shocked by is I didn't know that my brother knew about the Attitude Era of wrestling. I'm shocked by that.
News
wow,
to me.
This dude knows everything. Boxing doesn't love the underdog anymore. This is the brash Instagram era, sort of like the Attitude Era of wrestling. Yeah, I think that's 100% true, and that's why they like the Haneys and the Shakur Stevensons. And the Teofimo Lopez, they're cocky, they're arrogant.
Davis.
You know, they got 2 million followers on the gram. Boom! You know, again, I love Kambosos for what this guy's done and how he's gotten there and how hard he's worked to earn the spot. Nobody handed it to him. You don't need to go out there. I mean, again, to go out there and beat Teofimo Lopez. And to me, that was like a Canelo Bibble right there. It was like, I'll fight this guy. I can kick his ass. No, you can't. And
guy.
you found that out the hard way. So, yeah, dude, you know, I saw something. He's got like a tattoo, never surrender. I think Kambosos, like you said, the fire in the belly, this guy still has a lot to prove. He's going to have a great night tonight.
Answer this one, Jace. Same way, prime Loma, Chavez Sr., Lomachenko.
I mean, you know my biases. I'm gonna go Julio Cesar Chavez Sr.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Lomachenko. This guy's on a completely different level than anybody else who's ever boxed.
I'll take Loma too. The volume, straightforward pressure fighter is the guy he does best against. This guy's. I don't want to say tailor-made because he's a great, one of the all-time greatest fighters, but that's the guy I want to. I'm a long jab, stay on the outside, please come forward. When I get in there with a counterpuncher, it's boring. I want that straightforward type of guy, and so does Loma, and he styles make fights. This is a bad matchup for Chavez.
Yeah, but all right, back to this. I didn't get to say my prediction. But
Anthony Johnson, right?
Listen,
flies in a parachute, helicopter parachute, and crashes. Knocks both of them out.
Listen, make sure you guys, all you listeners, make sure you subscribe to Throwing Jabs Podcast on YouTube. Go back there. Go back to our December 4th episode. That is right when Kambosos Jr. beat Teofimo Lopez, and I said, if Kambosos fights Haney, Haney's going to have a tough time. Like you mentioned with that one thing that with Linares, why that fight was so hard for Haney was the hooks. Everything down the middle, Haney's great with. When it's coming to the side, he struggles. And that's what Linares was landing on him. That's why he struggled. And then you go and you look at that Teofimo Lopez-Kambosos fight. Where was Kambosos having the most success? It was with those hooks, those check hooks here and there. So I think you got the – I think that's going to be that's what's going to put Kambosos, give him the edge. And I think that's what's going to put Haney to sleep.
Put a number on it. Put a number on it. What round's he going down?
7. I'm taking 7.
Jason's very aggressive. He's going to go 5. He wants to go 4, but he feels like that's too quick. Am I right? You're trying to settle on a middle round, and you're like, is that too early?
No, you're right. I was thinking 7. Jared just said 7. I'm a knockout guy, so I'm going to go 5. Yeah, I'm going to go 5. 5, Kambosos, hook. Let's go, baby.
Now,
I would love that if that happened.
Now, when you have – see, I've done a lot of scrub scraps. You guys know that. So I fought about, 30, 40 people who I didn't know what I was getting. And sometimes there comes a problem when you know what you're getting. Haney has this problem. Shakur Stevenson has this problem. Let me explain. When you're boxing and you've got your 6, no hybrid punches, your basic punches are 1, 2's a little shorter, 3's a little shorter, and they come back to you 4, 5, 6. They get shorter as they go. So that when you're leading, this makes the most sense, your jab to lead. Ali started throwing the anchor punch with Foreman. He landed it 6 times in the first round with Foreman. Anchor punch, straight right hand. Doesn't work much with people who don't know what they're doing because they expect you to bring your power first. You might even line up with your feet in the wrong way to get your power closer to them. But anybody with some experience is going to go through that same progression. So Loma and Kambosos, I saw this with Lopez. When you step and go backwards through those numbers, 2-1, the second punch becomes longer. 3-2, the second punch becomes the longer because the numbers are going backwards, right? So you're closer from that straight right hand, Shakur Stevenson. If whoever he fought, Nunez or whatever the guy's name was, if he had been throwing 1-2, he'd have missed that straight right hand. He was leading with the right hand, and Stevenson was like, all the boxers in the gym that we teach exactly how to box perfectly never do that. I've never seen that before because he's never done a scrub scrap. That's what Shakur Stevenson needs, 5 or 6 scrub scraps. He'll knock those guys out, but he'll see a bunch of stuff he's never seen before. And Haney has that same problem when guys go backwards through the progression. Like Jason's talking about the hooks. It's not just to come in 3-4, 3-4. It's to come in without that natural progression from 2 to 3-4, right? From 3 to 2, 3, 4. So you're going backwards through the numbers, getting closer to the guy and giving them something like advanced level. When Loma does lateral movement, it looks unorthodox. It's not. It's exactly what he's supposed to be doing. That's how everybody should be boxing. But it's so advanced, it's so high level that when you see it, it looks unorthodox. And that's what Kambosos does. That's what Loma does. I've seen some of those things, and I think he catches Haney. I think that same 3-2 Linares landed because the 3 got him in, and it got blocked, and the 2 went way further than it was supposed to because the numbers were working backwards, and Haney needed to be escorted to his corner. That could be the same shot Kambosos lands in round 7.
Yeah. All right. I love it. Well, I mean, we're all going Kambosos. Joe just has politics getting in the way of.
I hate that boxing is like this, but it is. And I think that Kambosos, dude, again, I mean, I feel like I was gonna say if he drops him a couple of times, they can still pull some BS. They'll still find a way. And Tony, tell me if I'm wrong. Is who's putting on this fight tonight? Is this Haney's people? Because if it's Haney's people, they're also picking the ref and the judges. So,
well, the ref's going to be the one to save Haney in the 3rd minute of round 7 when he gets caught with a left. The left hook's going to miss, but it's a setup punch for the straight right hand. And that's the punch that's going to stop it. 3rd minute, round 7. Book it. Kambosos knocks out Haney.
Yeah, there you go. Eddie Hearn. If Eddie Hearn's got anything to say about this, Haney's winning this fight tonight. If Kambosos has anything to say about it, he wins the fight tonight.
Shit's getting depth.
But it's also in Australia.
It's one of my new sayings. Shit's getting depth in here. I heard that.
Yeah. But it's in Australia. And also remember the Jeff Horn fight against Manny Pacquiao. That was also in Australia. Everyone scratched their head around that. So
and bigger guy, unorthodox punches, all of those things I was saying. That's what you're getting with Kambosos Haney. Same thing. Unorthodox guy with so advanced that it looks unorthodox, let's say. And Haney's going to see things he hasn't seen before.
Yeah, all right. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun fight. The biggest secret is that, get paid by the promoters. I remember, I think it was Teddy Atlas was on the Joe Rogan podcast years ago, and he's talking about how, like, if you go to, like, the finest restaurant the night before the fight, you'll see the promoter just whining and dining with all the judges and that stuff. So,
you know what it reminds me of is court. I've been to prison a few times, and it reminds me of court because you see those guys, they're your public defender, and he's like, this is my guy. And it's like, nah, those are your guys, homie. I'm not on your team. I don't care how many nice things you have to say to me. As soon as he hits that gavel and says recess, you guys are going to go have a cup of coffee together. It looks like you're arguing, and one of you hates me, and one of you really likes me, and it's this big show where you should all be on that side of the table. Yep, and that's what we have in boxing, and it's not quite as frustrating as the judicial system, but it's getting there.
But all right, before we wrap up the fights tonight, I mean, we just talked about 2 of the biggest fights, but there are a bunch of great fights. Jared, you got a fight of the night for us?
Yes, I do. Upset pick too, by the way. Carl Dargan gets upset by Alfredo Santiago Alvarez. This is another one of those guys who fought their way there versus kind of a protected guy. Dargan being the protected guy, it's why he's favored. So my fight of the night is also my puncher's chance. Carl Dargan upset by Alfredo Alvarez.
Oh, nice. On Showtime. Make sure you tune into that. Joe, fight of the night?
I don't. There's nothing else happening tonight that I love. The UFC card is crap.
Stephen Fulton and Chocolatito is going to be good too.
Yeah,
should be all right. Felton will beat him. He's a bigger guy, but
I'll watch that one.
Yeah,
I like Chocolatito, but Myquan Williams is fighting tonight. I know Sanders super excited about that. The co-main event tonight is Dan Ige.
Yeah.
Against Movsar Evloev. Not excited about that. This whole card is like not great. Not a great card.
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
Especially after a week off.
Hey, we got a big card next week though, right? Glover and Prohaska.
Yeah, but tease us a little bit. No,
you're right. You're right. You know I mean, I was looking at the UFC card. The only other card, the only really other fight that I'd want to mention is Felice Herrig versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. But they're both mainstays, both journey women in that respective division. So maybe it's going to be a tough one. But for me, my fight of the night is not tonight. It's actually Tuesday. You got Inoue versus Donaire on ESPN Plus. on Tuesday. That's gonna be.
I love Donaire, but that's not going to be good.
No, the rematch, right? They fought, yeah. So this should be interesting. But
what do you call when Josh refuses to play quarterback? Oh, Rosenstrike.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
And
Josh Rosen.
I can't fight. I can't find Mike One. Did that get canceled? I can't find a Mike One Williams fight.
I'm sure Sandra will let us know.
Yeah, let us know, brother.
Yeah, but all right, that's gonna do it for fights. I mean, big fight. I'm very excited. Kambosos Haney. That's gonna steal the show. That's been talk about fights of the night. That's the real fight of the night. We will finally have an undisputed lightweight champion. I'm excited. That's what boxing needs.
I will sleep better knowing that there's a unified
one guy.
Yeah, load off my mind.
Boxing
maybe don't have 15 belts, and then we wouldn't need all these unification. But whatever.
Yeah, but I enjoy the fights. That's gonna do it for myself. Big Jace, Joe Guy, and Jared Jones. A big shout out to Chris Sawyer, Annie Mac, Home Mortgage, JPEX Financial, and Shamrock Home Inspections for sponsoring today's episode. Make sure you check out clovercrestmedia.com for a bunch of other great podcasts. More information on this podcast as well. And we're going to end the show like we always do. Jared, brother, hit us with that flurry.
The most depressing thing in America for middle class and upper middle class people, I promise you, is credit. Done a lot of research on happiness and what makes us happy and how we acquire it. Exercising with novelty. Cooperation is a big one. But when you exercise with novelty, you more likely are competing. And when you're cooperating, there's other people involved too in cooperation and competition. So what can I do by myself to obtain happiness? And one of the biggest answers, the biggest piece of that pie, is setting goals that you work for and then obtain, and that makes you happy. You set a goal, you set something you want, you work for it, and then you become happy. The thing that takes away most people's happiness, middle class, upper middle class in America, is credit. What happens to that happiness when you decide you want that thing, get it, and then have to do the work to get yourself there? Part of the happiness is the investment, the time, the energy, the money you invest in getting that thing that you want, in working toward that thing that you want. When you can just apply for credit and get that thing, you've undermined the whole process of your own happiness. And what you end up with is a nice house, a nice car, a whole bunch of nice stuff that you're consistently working for to pay for. It's called the hedonic treadmill, where you're just on it and have no way to get off because that's your payments and that's how you survive. And like Brad Pitt said in Fight Club as Tyler Durden, you don't own your things anymore. Your things own you. Thanks, guys.
Throwing jabs, always full send. Here we go again. Jared, Joe, and Jay's Clovercrest, top three corner man, punching in with a puncher's chance. We find a way to win. The main event, locked it in every Saturday at 10. The overhand is out of hand when it comes to fisticuffs. Slide a hand on the undercard, you'll never see the punch. Uppercut, got you missing weight, feet are stepping late. Keep your guard up, feeling faint from a feint. Take a stand and eight, then retaliate. Put up your duke, stick and move, bob and weave. Don't lose hope against the ropes, there's always an escape. Never stay down. One more round, bells ringing, counter punch with your chin tucked and go down swinging. We bringing crosses with no worship, hooks with no verses, combinations with no locks. When you feel the flurry, it's curtains. From scrub scraps to fight stats, relax if you want the facts, cause the best combat podcast is throwing jabs.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Meat, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.